Well, good evening, everybody. My name is David Sandoval. I am one of the founders of an organization called Purium. And Purium, as most of it, is a made up word. It's a combination of two words, and those words are pure and premium. And that describes the quality of the food, the quality of the supplements, the quality of these incredible lifestyle tools that we share with you. And it has been said, but I want you to really take it seriously that the quality of what you put into your body is going to dramatically impact the quality of what your body gives back to you. The way that you look is just part of it, but the way that you feel, okay, the way that you perform. And what do I perform? Well, it might just be walking across the room. It might be the ability to read still because your eyes haven't failed you. It might be the ability to hear. It might be simple little things like that. We don't think much about that we take total for granted just because we currently have them, not realizing that one day they might be lost. And once they're lost, we may never recover them again. And so as I see the elderly people in my life and I look at them standing in line at the pharmaceutical line, when I go into the drugstore and I'm in there to pick up a few things, some paper towels or whatever it might be. And I look at that long line of people waiting to get their medicine, the medications, the things that literally get them through the day. And I'm so sad. I look how slow they're moving and how hard it is for them to conduct their daily activities. And I keep thinking to myself how blessed I am to be part of this organization that is dedicated to the quality of people's lives. And so we have a guarantee that if you do not feel better, that you have 60 days to return the things that I'm asking you to trust me, and to believe that you can do better. And when I hear people saying, I can't afford that, it costs too much. And then I see them at Starbucks, I see them driving through some fast food restaurant, I see them at a regular restaurant sitting down to eat. And most of the time, the tip that they leave is enough for you to have a thorough regimen of Purium products, much less the food that you've paid for. And so I want to talk to you about one of the key ways that you can help encourage the regeneration, the rejuvenation, and the maintenance of your body at the cellular level. Everything starts at the cellular level. Each one of your cells in your body will replace itself in no more than 7 years, which means that if you start today and you live a completely different life, one that is pure and premium in the foods that you consume, and many of you are doing that now, but I'm just saying if you're not, that within 7 years, you could be a completely new, regenerated, and rejuvenated person if you have those 7 years left. So let's get started because I want to explain to you how Purium, how the ultimate lifestyle transformation supports healthy glutathione levels and stem cell activation. So what is glutathione? Well, glutathione is actually what is called a tripeptide. Okay, a tripeptide is composed, it's three proteins, cysteine, glycine, and glutamic acid. But without that fancy talk, it's called the body's master antioxidant. It's actually produced in every single cell in our body. It's manufactured internally. It can't be taken externally, okay? And it's literally found in every one of your cells. And high glutathione levels are required for maintaining healthy stem cell levels. So taking stem cells in a shot, putting stem cell patches on your arm, I hate to say it, but that's a bunch of BS because it's not the way your body is supposed to or will maintain and create healthy stem cells. So what are stem cells? Well, stem cells are the body's foundational cells. It's unlike any other cell, okay? They have one job and one job only, and they're completely specialized. I don't know why it says unspecialized. They're completely specialized. Each stem cell created has one exact purpose in your body, and that purpose is defined by the creation of that stem cell. They could actually renew themselves and they can become, okay, one of the most specialized cells that the body is made of. They are part, literally, of how the body grows and maintains itself. But most importantly, they are critical to the renewal of our cells, the regeneration of our cells, the rejuvenation of our cells, those cells that replicate every 7 years at the minimum, that replace themselves. And typically they replace themselves with a weaker cell, with a cell that's capable of producing less glutathione, with a cell that is damaged, okay? And that damage of one cell is passed on to the next generation of cells, and so on and so on. And as the cells accumulate damage, they become weaker and weaker over time, and that is called aging. And so when we talk about anti-aging, when we talk about reversing aging, what we're really talking about is increasing the level of glutathione produced within each cell, producing the antioxidant potential. And I've been asked, what is an antioxidant? People don't understand. Oxidation is what happens when let's just think of a penny. Let's think of a penny that's shiny. Okay. Have you ever seen a brand new penny? It's nice and shiny, but once that penny has been in circulation for just a short time, it becomes much darker. It looks more like a copper pipe that's been in our house for a while. And so how do you scrub that penny? How do you make it clean again? How do you regenerate and rejuvenate that penny? Well, if that penny were a cell, the answer would be glutathione. The answer would be stem cells. Now, every cell is capable of regeneration, is capable of rejuvenation. And your body actually creates its own stem cells, and each one is very specific to its purpose. And this is how the body regenerates and rejuvenates and renew itself, renewal, making it like new again. Think about that word, renewal, making that cell like new again. And we can only dream, right? We can only dream of that, but that's not true, because when we can increase and support healthy levels of glutathione, then we are going to be supporting one of the body's key defenses against oxidative stress, not just defending our body against getting worse, but actually helping our body regenerate and rejuvenate itself and get better. Okay, like I said, the glutathione is created pretty simply from three simple building blocks. Like I said, it's a tripeptide: cysteine, glycine, and glutamic acid. And when cysteine, glycine, and glutamic acid are in sufficient quantities within our body, in the right ratios, then we can increase our levels of glutathione. And when we increase our levels of glutathione, when we support healthy glutathione levels, we will also be supporting stem cells, those specific regenerative, rejuvenating cells that work on every other cell in our body. So here's the thing. When you have factors that contribute to the depletion of glutathione, when we have factors that impact our body's ability to maintain healthy glutathione levels, and we allow our body to get into a state where accelerates, where oxidative stress accelerates and compounds day after day, week after week, year after year, then aging actually accelerates. And it starts with sleep deprivation. If you don't get enough sleep, then your body cannot go into those reparative functions, those regenerative functions. And even if you eat well, if you allow your body, if you live a very stressful life where you're always worried about, am I going to be here on time? Am I going to be there on time? Am I going to earn enough money? Am I going to please somebody? Am I going to perform well enough? If you're worried about things, then stress is something that must be reduced as well. And whether you pray, meditate, exercise, all of those things are important. Sleep is critically important, and addressing nutritional deficiencies is critically important. Providing your body with the raw materials, with the building blocks, is perhaps something that cannot be replaced by anything else. Okay. You can't somehow eat a poor diet and then sleep a lot and pray a lot and reduce your stress, which is all awesome, because prayer can heal you and sleep is very healing, and reducing your stress is important. We need nutrients. We need quality nutrients. We need high nutrient dense foods that have low calories and are a minimal burden upon our body, foods that actually contribute to our body versus depleting our body by overburdening our digestive tract, our elimination, our liver, our kidneys, our heart, our blood, all of these things are going to be addressed when we increase the nutrient density and the quantity and quality of the food that we eat. And of course, aging, as we get older, as I said, aging is not a reason, should not be a reason for this depletion. If we are constantly providing our body with the right quality, the right quantity, the right density of food, then aging should actually be a minimal factor. So they did some studies that really are surprising, that when 80-year-old people were tested after they died in an autopsy, it was discovered that they had not yet utilized half of their human growth hormone. They had not yet utilized half of their stem cells, that this rejuvenative longevity factor was only half of it was used, meaning that theoretically these people could have lived to be 160 years old. And when you laugh at that, remember, I met Jean Coleman, who lived ultimately to be 123. I met her at 119, and she was sharp. Okay, she was quick-witted. She was able to get up and walk across the room. So let's not get it twisted, as the young kids would say. Okay, we are in control more than we realize. It's just that we lose control when we sit down at the dinner table. We lose control when we let our taste buds and our desires dictate what our choices will be. Every time that we put something in our mouth, we have made a choice whether we want to regenerate and rejuvenate, or we want to contribute to depletion and to degradation. So we have the answers. We have the ability to make better choices. Now, the good news is that what we call the Purium lifestyle, okay? What we call the Purium lifestyle, the consumption of these incredible supplements, it actually supports healthy glutathione levels. It actually supports healthy stem cell levels. It actually supports healthy HGH levels in our body. And how does it do that? Well, the first thing is, if you look at the science, okay, if you look at the science, deep green leafy vegetables are a critical source of plant-based building blocks that are in the antioxidant complex. And when you look at the Power Shake and you look at the myriad of deep green leafy plant material, you're gonna see that the organic spirulina, the most nutrient dense green plant on earth. When you look at wheatgrass and barley grass and oat grass, and you see that they are among the most nutrient dense green plants on earth. When you look at organic alfalfa, okay, which is not a grass at all, it is actually a legume. Of course, we never let it become mature. But alfalfa has roots that go 40 feet into the soil. Alfalfa is 40% protein, and it is the highest land or based food in chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is indicative of how much sunlight you could process. Sunlight is energy. And again, we have these deep, dark green pigmented plants are key ingredients in the Power Shake. Now take dark colored fruits. These are nutrient dense foods rich in polyphenols. Dark red, purple, and blue fruits, colored fruits, are the highest source of polyphenols, and polyphenols are among the most rejuvenative substances that you could find in the plant kingdom. And these colorful compounds are tied directly to supporting your antioxidant profile. Dark berry protein is containing perhaps the single most nutrient dense colored fruits on the planet. And so if you look again, the dark berry contains a quality source of protein. Pomegranates, black currants, raspberries, cranberries, tart cherries, blueberries, blackberries, acai, amla fruit, rose hips, and those last three are nature's richest sources of naturally occurring vitamin C, okay? And we know that vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant as well. Now, essential amino acids. Okay. Lean muscle tissue is the number one indicator as to whether or not you will age, or how fast you are aging. When you have more lean muscle than it's proven scientifically that you are most likely going to have a longer life. When you have less lean muscle, then you're most likely not going to have a longer life. This is clinically proven scientific fact. And the reason why is because circulation is critical, and lean muscle actually pushes blood and oxygen through our capillaries. Our heart, now pay attention, our heart does not push blood through our capillaries. Our lean muscle does. And capillaries are the most extensive, okay? Miles and miles and miles long, worth of capillaries in our body, and they bring blood to our extremities, closest to our skin. Blood actually travels single file. They're so small that blood travels single file through them, and yet our heart does not pump that. It's our lean muscle that does that. So when you stop having lean muscle, you stop having critical circulation through our capillaries, and literally we start to die. Now, if you look at super amino 23, you'll see that it has nothing more than the proteins that go directly to building muscle, and 99% of super aminos are directly contributing building lean muscle. Unlike other sources of protein, whether it be plant protein or animal protein, most of that protein will never become muscle. Not just, I don't mean less than 50%, much less than 50%, 40%, 30%, 20% of the protein that we eat will never become muscle, whereas 99% of super aminos will ultimately become muscle. And what happens to the protein that doesn't become muscle? It has to be digested. It has to be eliminated. It has to burden our liver. It has to burden our kidneys. It has to burden our colon. And it's just not the best way to build lean muscle. It's not the best way to get critical proteins. And you can see in there that we have the proteins that are required for lean muscle, as well as many of the proteins, or two of the three proteins that are required to build glutathione as well. Now, as I said earlier, our ability to process these energies, to use these regenerative, rejuvenated resources that are part of the ultimate lifestyle transformation, are served very well, okay, when we have deep, restful sleep. It is critical that we get deep, restful sleep. And many people don't understand that you only need 2 hours of what is defined as deep sleep, but you also need 2 to 2.5 hours of what is called REM sleep, going into and following deep sleep. So there's like a REM sandwich that stands for rapid eye movement, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is the part of our sleep that leads into and makes deep sleep possible. And when we come out of a deep sleep, okay, so really we're talking about only 7 hours, but it also takes about a half hour to get into the state where we could get into REM sleep. And that's why they say this 8-hour window. But that when you take our products Sleep Nightly, okay, that you are more likely to get deep restful sleep, that deep restful sleep can happen in a shorter window, 5 or 6 hours, 7 hours, and you will get the required deep sleep necessary for regeneration and rejuvenation, detoxification, burning of fat, repairing of tissue, maintaining our healthy neurological function. And so regardless of all the other things you do, exercise and diet, which are critical, without deep sleep, you will accumulate oxidative stress. So that is why the Sleep Nightly is such an important part, such an important factor in this supporting healthy glutathione levels, supporting the regeneration of our tissue, supporting stem cell function. Without deep restful sleep, we could only go so far. So what are in the ingredients? Well, I'm sure you've heard of the power of reishi mushrooms. I'm sure you've heard of the relaxing power of passiflora or passion flower, of chamomile, and of course, tart cherry. But dude, the number one revered herb in all of Ayurveda, okay, is ashwagandha, is a adaptogenic herb that works in so many different levels, but helping you to have deep, restful sleep and the regeneration and rejuvenation that happens during deep, restful sleep is also part of the beauty and the awesomeness, if I can say, of this Ayurvedic herb called ashwagandha. So again, I wanted to show you some of these ingredients, with full disclosure what it is you're getting, but let me also talk about what you're not getting. You are not getting binders. You're not getting fillers. You're not getting these other compounds that are typically found in most supplements, where you look at the label, and if they even disclose them, and many of them don't and won't and can't because they know that you wouldn't accept it, but a lot of them do. And you look at the ingredient label and you go, why is that in there? What is that? What is microcrystalline cellulose? What is What is the purpose of these other things that are found in our supplements? And the truth is that we don't have those things. We have pure and premium ingredients. We don't have the binders, the fillers, the excipients, and such. And that's what makes us special. But also, we don't have microplastics. Okay. And you look at our packaging itself is a statement about quality. It is plant-based packaging that will return to the earth, that will biodegrade and go back to the earth that it came from. And so it isn't just about ourselves and our bodies, although that is critical. It's also about the body of Mother Earth and how we respect that. And the more we respect ourselves, the more we respect our own bodies, the more we'll understand the need to also respect the earth. And so I'm really proud of the ingredients that we have put into the ultimate lifestyle transformation. I'm really proud of the protein. I'm really proud, okay, of what we have put together. And the Purium lifestyle delivers the dark green leafy vegetables. It delivers the dark red, blue, purple pigmented fruits. It delivers the building block proteins, but it also delivers the deep restful sleep that's required to make it all happen. Okay. Power shake, dark berry protein, super amino 23. And also, of course, as we're going to get you, as I just spoke of, that deep restful sleep. But what about parasites? What about the fact that we're not only putting the good stuff in, we're getting the bad stuff out. When you look at Biomedic, which is not listed here because it detoxifies the body, gets rid of glyphosate. Okay. You look at the ingredients in Power Shake, it may be helpful in eliminating forever chemicals. We look at the ingredients in these products and they may be helpful in eliminating heavy metals. And of course, we look at our antiparasitic ingredients. And we look at this and we see that we're not just putting in, we're also taking out. There's addition by subtraction, where it's what we get rid of, what we are able to eliminate, that is also equivalent to what we're able to put in. Subtraction by addition and addition by subtraction. It all goes together in what we call the Purium lifestyle, the ultimate lifestyle transformation. Now, I have a special guest, and I hope Melinda Goodall is out there. She is a clinical nutrition researcher. She does her homework, as they say. When she talks, that she is talking from a position of authority. And so I'd like to welcome Melinda. If she has joined us, I'd like her to turn on her camera, raise her hand, so that we could bring you on. Melinda, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Dave.
Hello, Melinda. Good evening.
Good evening. A lot of great stuff that you're sharing. And would you like me to interject, or would you like to ask some questions?
I would like you to just take the microphone and let people know how you feel about Purium, the ultimate lifestyle transformation, and of course, comment about the things that I've said tonight. And if I'm crazy, let them know. If I'm speaking the truth, you could let them know that too.
No, not at all. And I am so grateful to be able to piggyback off of all the awesomeness you just started with. So I have a clinical nutrition degree and have spent at least the last 25 years doing extensive research. And one of my biggest findings, it was relevant to oxidative stress. And that is because oxidative stress is the leading cause of every disease, inflammation, and of course, excessive aging, which you've covered in great detail today. And of course, since I'm mentioning disease, I'm making it very clear that Purium does not claim to treat or cure disease or condition nor replace medical care. But we're discussing when it comes to the stem cells and reactive oxidative species, that is what actually oxidative stress is. And so I want to quickly mention what is going to elevate your reactive oxidant species and how glutathione can combat that, and how every one of these actually in more detail is able to rejuvenate more glutathione. And the beauty of how you mentioned the glutathione are the three aminos, but what's so magnificent with the glutathione is your antioxidants are what's going to combat your free radicals. And when there's more free radicals than antioxidants, then you are going to have oxidative stress. Same thing with your stem cells. So by having antioxidants across the board are going to be extremely beneficial, which your products are jam-packed with. But then, of course, you've got the glutathione. That is your master antioxidant. And what that makes that even more significant is that it's not only combating and helping the oxidative stress through the antioxidant level, it actually produces more antioxidants as well as it is going to help protect from any further damage as well. So it really it serves, it's of course it's the Mac Daddy of the antioxidants. And so why that's so important is every single one of your products specifically helps support glutathione production. And as we age, our glutathione production lowers. So it is more important, of course, as you age to include those items. I do want to make it a point to say that there was glutathione. A lot of people think that they can take glutathione supplements. Glutathione is made naturally within your cell. And these glutathione supplements that a lot of these people are trying to promote and push, they don't even pass your stomach acid. So they're worthless. And so having your formulations that actually increase in natural food source ingredients is magnificent, because the things in addition to sleep deprivation, you've got synthetics that are also going to increase ROS, which is of course oxidative stress. You've got the sleep deprivation, you've got the glyphosate, so anything toxic is going to exacerbate that. So by covering all the bases, I just think it's phenomenal. And I know for time's sake, I'm going to jump into it quickly. But since I mentioned the stomach acid, I love the Biometic, because of course, the pre and probiotics directly help support the glutathione production. But I also love the fact, since I mentioned the stomach acid in regards to glutathione supplements, I love that it's spore forming, that it has a protective shield, the form of the probiotic, that it reaches the intestines. So I think that's magnificent, in addition to supporting glutathione levels. The DHA and the EPA is directly linked to stimulating your NRF2 pathway, which of course is responsible for increasing your glutathione level. And I also liked how you mentioned the blood flow, because this also is very beneficial in increasing blood flow. And not only do glutathione levels decrease when you age, and it's actually, you mentioned the muscular, that's actually something called vasomotion. And that's what requires the muscles to reach the microcirculation and pump that blood. And this is also extremely important in helping with blood flow. So it covers so many bases, because everything is so directly linked when it comes to the stem cells and when it comes to reducing oxidative stress. And then what I really love about the dark berry protein is when you have, again, the natural production of collagen, that's also directly linked to increasing glutathione and decreasing oxidative stress, as well as the vitamin C and then an enzyme in the berries themselves. So this really is jam-packed full of some great things. And then now your power shake, not only are the greens and the wheatgrass directly linked to increasing glutathione, you have the stabilized rice bran. Stabilized rice bran is so nutrient dense, and it helps better absorb the greens and all the fat soluble vitamins, your A, your K, your E, your D, but it also is known to be directly beneficial to increase glutathione because of the sulfuric compounds. So it's amazing. And then of course the super cleanse, now the parasites, and that's why so of course, if you have oxidative stress, it's relevant to every condition out there, of course, including cancer. And a lot of people are talking about I've heard people say parasites is cancer, but it's what it is. Parasites cause the oxidative stress, which in turn causes cancer. And of course, you've got the Mac Daddy Parasite Cleanse here with the wormwood that eradicates the adults. You've got the black walnuts that's going to get the larvae. You've got the clove that's going to get the eggs, as well as you've got the marshmallow root that is going to be that's binder to pull them out. And then you've got the leaf, the fruit, and the bark that's also going to help eliminate it. So you've definitely taken care of that. So when it comes to oxidative stress, that's what's going to actively age you and excessively age you. So because you focus so much on age, this really is like, honestly, of course, I'm not making any claims. It really is a MAC. It really does cover anti-aging benefits. Now, of course, the sleep is a huge thing, and one of your number one oxidative stressors when you're sleep deprived. But what I really love about your formulation as well is that it covers, when it comes to glutathione production, because when you've got that master antioxidant in high production, you're combating all that oxidative stress. And so not only does your formulation help with better sleep, you've got the ashwagandha. That's going to help. Another thing that causes oxidative stress is emotional stress. So you've got your anxiety, and that is directly linked to help known to decrease anxiety. So you're covering it in that angle. It also, the formulation helps with your natural melatonin production, and increased melatonin is also directly linked to increasing glutathione and, of course, reducing oxidative stress. So everything is so directly linked. And I just love how your entire program covers all the bases when in regards to, of course, increasing your stem cell production, increasing glutathione production, and the biggest, what we want to do most of all is reduce that oxidative stress.
I want to add one thing. I want to add one thing and let you comment on it. There's another master enzyme called superoxide dismutase, and I want to break that down. Superoxide is the strongest type of free radical. Okay, it's the most damaging of all free radicals. And if you break the next part of that down, dismutase, it actually reverses the mutations caused by these superoxides. And so we're providing you with several ways to help protect your body at the cellular level, but not just protect, to actually help to repair the damage that has been done. And that makes this extremely unique, I think, among nutritional programs.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hope that you'll join us again sometime. I love your insight. I love the research. And thank you for mentioning that the long chain fatty acids are a contributor as well. Thank you for mentioning and explaining how the biomedic is a contributor. And please, if you have anything else to share, I'm giving the microphone back to you.
Thank you so much, because I did forget the amino acids, because the amino acid panel that you have, it's extremely bioavailable, which is phenomenal. But it's also linked because it helps with the cysteine and the glycine production, of course, which of course is going to increase your glutathione. So I did leave out the amino acids. So thank you for bringing that up. But again, you've covered all the bases, and I just think it's phenomenal. And I'm glad to be a part of Purium.
And that's why we call it a lifestyle, doctor. That's the reason why we call it a lifestyle. It is not just a supplement. Supplements are found in plastic jars at GNC. This is a lifestyle. This is food. This is food that nourishes you deeply at the cellular level. And once you have become accustomed to living this lifestyle, you find that it doesn't actually cost money, because the money that you're saving not going to restaurants, the money you're saving on the food that you don't buy, on the meals that you don't eat, on the doctor bills that you don't pay, it actually becomes cash positive. Even if you're not a brand partner, it becomes cash positive because of all of the money that you do not spend.
And actually, Dave, I'm glad you mentioned GNC, because I think one thing that's really important is that most of our mainstream vitamins are synthetic. And if what goes in them, it's horrifying. So the fact that everything that you have is food sourced is magnificent, because anything synthetic is going to increase oxidative stress. So it's very important to do the food source that you have. So I think that's great.
Well, I think you're great, Melinda. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone who stayed on to help listen through the end of this call. And we'll be back next week, and we're going to be talking about some unique products that we are going to be either reintroducing I can't forget, we have a superfood social at the corporate offices coming up in just a couple of days. So scan the QR code, RSVP, share that with others who are in the neighborhood who could get there, so that they could see where we manufacture these products. We are a CGMP manufacturer. That means it's the highest level of accreditation. It's the highest level standard that you could have as a food manufacturer. And so these same levels are necessary to produce pharmaceutical drugs. Obviously, we do not do that, but we do produce them to that standard. So thanks again, Melinda. Thanks to all of you for joining us. And we'll look forward to seeing you first at the corporate offices this weekend, but then next week on Wednesday, as they say, the same time, the same channel. And we can't wait to see you here.
Fabulous. And thank you for having me, Dave. And thank you for a great product.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, Melinda.
Bye-bye. Thank you.